workshop.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So the things that changed was, well, what we talked about the last workshop was, I divided up the $105,000 if we do the levy.
Right.
You know, start from the beginning. And so instead of it hitting that 1 month, I just allocated it out, so it
Right.
kind of,
Okay. That's good.
On admin expenses, I went ahead and added the $50,000 deductible if you have to make a claim. Remember, it was at 25.
Right.
Okay.
And then, our insurance, I fixed it to where we have to pay the $48,000 in the month of September. You'll see that, then we make $9,000 payments for 10 months,
Right.
which comes to $139,000.
Yep. See it.
See what else did I change? Under maintenance, I made the adjustments to just doing the projected new equipment down to 36,000. On the second page,
New equipment.
and then to answer your question on an email that you sent Roby earlier this week, sorry I didn't get a chance to respond, but the property taxes, I fixed that line item if you wanna go back to that expense.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
It's $125,000 for property taxes.
Okay.
Security didn't change any. Golf course didn't change any. I made the adjustments on motel expenses, allocated out that 60 grand for projected renovation.
Okay.
Where is that, Jody? I'm sorry.
Motel expenses,
Penny?
I allocated out to 60 grand so it wouldn't mess up our P&L.
Spread it. Okay, spread it
I
out.
see it.
Yeah, I see
Spread
it.
it out.
Okay, spread it out over the months.
Under repairs and maintenance.
For new equipment,
No.
and also for repairs and maintenance,
Well,
because I think there's 11.5 allocated for the new dryer.
right.
Right.
I spread that out.
Mhm.
RV expenses I changed to 35,000 and spread that out for the RV pads.
Okay.
And I think it was also motel, I had the wrong payroll, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Motel.
It was,
Overall payroll,
Actually, I'm sorry, it was recreation, I had the wrong payroll in, and it went to 39,000. And it was originally on your original sheets at 37,000. Remember that mistake?
yeah, that was on what?
Recreation payroll.
Right, okay.
Mhm.
And then with doing the spread out and some adjusting and reducing the expenses and maintenance, it puts you at a profit without your bad debt expense and your depreciation expense, which is a non-material item,
Mhm.
of $315,999. Projected profit.
Is the motel and RV park based in part on what we did last year, the projections? In other words, we have pretty good years, but we don't know that they're in our pipeline or,
Well, last year's
Mhm.
numbers didn't really reflect, our 2012, 2013 didn't reflect the wind farm and the pipeline too much.
you know,
You had your best year ever in 2012, 2013 at the motel. And The projections that I have in here for your motel revenue is based upon our marketing efforts, the continuation. I did not include, I know the solar panel is coming here sometime in January, and there's about 5 guys here now excavating the property, but I don't have that in there, because that's just kind of, you're guessing. So I'm basing upon just the percentages of the marketing that we'll get in here. The summer was, for motel stay, was higher than last year so far, meaning the 2011-2012 fiscal year.
Mhm.
Good.
So your motel, your motel for 2012, fiscal year 2012, 2011-2012, it brought in $245,000. 2013, I'm projected at the close of this month at $297,000. It's a pretty big increase. And then, so 2014, I'm projecting $309,000 in income. So with the $60,000 for painting inside the motel rooms and the flooring, every room having flat screen TVs, that's the $60,000 for repair on the porches and the stairs. So, the other big things that we have to talk about is, since you were at the, just to catch you up from missing last workshop, was membership assessments, it's gone up. For projected that hopefully we're gonna get people to buy in here. So we got an $84,000 a month jump there, hopefully up by 2,000 from 82, what we're currently running at right now, 82,000 a month. FRM, normally you're averaging about $6,000 a month. And I got a projection of $9,334,000 a month, because if we have every renter get a FRM, that's where that increase accounts for. So this budget is based upon if we, as you as a board, decide to go ahead and do renters having an FRM, that's the big challenge for you guys. Levy, remember we talked about the $105,000 levy that would go for building preservation. I don't need it to operate our facilities, we just don't make enough money, or I don't foresee in the near future, in the next 5-10 years, to make enough money to chip away at these buildings that are deteriorating. So the $105,000 in theory, based upon $40 levy, and that levy can change, I just had to throw a number out there for a budget purpose. So $105,000 you'd collect off a levy would be set up strictly for building preservation, which would be Seminole Hall for electrical and water. The other big thing that's up for discussion would be $12,000 allocated for an expense for new gym equipment. And that gym equipment we've talked several times, I know, in the past, where you would make the teen center the new adult center. Keep the current adult lobby center as like a place to play bridge. But how it's set up now, if you buy new equipment and it's on that wing where it currently is now, nobody's sitting over there and monitoring. If you got new equipment, obviously you're gonna have increased population
Usage.
wanting to come and use it.
Usage, yeah.
So you want to make sure it's in an area that can be seen and monitored. And then my idea with that was to charge a $10 a month gym membership.
And that would be at the teen center?
At the teen center would then move to the adult center,
Be the
the
adult
wing
center.
at the Gorgas room.
You swap positions.
Well, especially if you're gonna have exercise equipment, you're gonna be active, it should be in an air conditioned
And you have
Sure.
AC there already, you got the track there, it's already set up with a little, you got the hardwood laminate floor. I just contradicted myself, it's a laminate floating floor. And so you've got it already set up to where you could have some type of aerobics classes, yoga, things of that nature. And I think $10 a month for an adult center usage, and you've got good equipment, people will be more than happy to pay that with an actual gym trainer.
I would. Then you got the other side too, that carpeted side, the tables and
Right.
snack bar.
Well, you'd have the weight room area there and
Well,
stuff like that.
the other idea is to make it pay for itself.
It's to pay for
Make it
itself.
support itself,
I think
and
it's-
make the maintenance there too.
I agree.
Recreation.
We don't have that now.
Recreation currently, you average losing $55,000 a year between Spring Park Adult Center and Teen Center. You lose 55. You're not gonna make money, I know we have to provide amenities for our members, but at the same time, you want to improve things and offer things that actually people would use. And, I think this is the right way of doing it, but that's my only opinion.
Well, I mean, especially when use of exercise equipment in general is, not everybody is into that, and those that are usually willing to pay a little more. I don't, it's kind of a specialty area, so. Especially compared to, outside private,
What will the
facilities.
teens have? Will they be getting anything?
Well,
First
the
off,
teen center needs some activities. There's some parents that want more activities, like while they're there for those 3 hours, which would be structured activities. Then I got teens that just wanna play and just be teens, or kids, actually, it's just young adults. And, I think that getting some type of like Wii PlayStation or activity, maybe a bigger screen where they could have some type of, I don't know what kids do now, I know the Wii is a big deal. We don't currently have anything like that.
What about like an arcade effect? Not completely, but maybe
No.
1 or 2 machines, so, for.
Well, that's where a Wii or a PlayStation would come into
Okay,
use.
well, all right.
An arcade, a lot of kids don't know what a Pac-Man is. Or a Centipede,
Ancient
but,
and honorable.
if you had, and I would think maybe some, movies or something like that, it would be really easy to showcase some type of movie and sell popcorn. A child-friendly movie. The problem is if you make you've got 6-year-olds all the way up to 17-year-olds that go to the teen center. Now, a lot of the teenagers, 14 to 17, aren't going there currently. And you got a lot of little babies going, the 6 to 12 is what you've got going, majority right now. So really what you put in there is gonna dictate the people you're gonna attract.
What kind of supervision will they have?
And what is what you have now, you've got 2 people there right now.
Have you
From 5, they get there about 5:30 and they stay till about 10:30.
Well, considering the vandalism and everything else going on in the fort with teenagers, I think we need to have activities.
But if you have activities, then you really gotta separate the teenagers,
I
because
understand that.
they're going outside and, you're at the risk, they're a little bit more sneaky. You got the cussing, you've got the more aggressive adult language happening
How
and
about different-
actions.
How about different days for different age groups?
They're only open Friday, Saturday now.
You can do that, but if you switch the 2 entities, you've got more room over the other one, for rooms.
Right.
Room,
Right, I agree.
versus over the other one.
Well, what,
Just-
No, I think
Sort
the
of
adult
one big
center
room.
is a perfect place for
Yeah.
where are the bathrooms? Are there bathrooms in the room? that-
In the Gorgas room?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you've got a male and female.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, you don't want these kids, I gotta go to the bathroom and
No, there's
run it down the
bathrooms.
hall and out the
No,
building
there-
and,
In fact, there's
There's
locker
bathrooms
rooms there,
throughout.
small locker rooms with,
No.
I mean,
No.
size-wise, it's not.
Not on the Gorgas side, no.
No.
Oh, no, there.
There's one attendant maybe in charge of the teens and one, the younger ones, is that, what's the structure?
Well, normally they're all together.
Right now, over there, everybody's kind of just out there in the mix, but it would be a better deal to, and over here, there's more rooms to separate 14 and up and 14 and down, and have
Sure.
2 people watch 2 different groups of kids.
Is that room big enough to put, I haven't been in there lately. Is it to divider, put a divider in it?
No, you have 2
A
different
movable divider?
It'd be better to put them in 2 different rooms.
That's what I'm talking
You
about.
can
Remember,
put a-
remember what she's trying to do? She's trying to move all of the gym equipment over to the other. You've got 2 separate rooms.
You
one on
could
this
use
end
the 2
and one on
wings.
the other end. Yeah.
Or you could use the Gorgas wing, and one end has its
Sure.
decent sized room, and then you have the hallway, which would consist of the bathrooms, and on this end, before you get to the lobby, you've got another room, pretty decent size.
This is without going outside.
Correct.
Exactly.
That's what I was getting at, there'd
Correct.
be two separate
You
rooms,
do.
if you will.
Two-
And
two
that way you
places.
could put one age group and one, yeah, okay.
One supervisor and one
The
supervisor.
bathrooms would be the separating between the two, if you will.
It's a hallway,
It's
yeah.
a
Yeah,
hallway.
right.
It's open from one end to the
I
other.
haven't been there in a while, I just remember. Terrible meeting.
Well, I see the need to separate, but I also see the need to serve both groups.
Exactly.
Well, how you do it, it's what you do, so. But I think it would be better to have one for one group and one for another.
And we've got the facility there, we might as well use it.
Mhm.
I just don't want a bunch of teenagers coming and making it a bad situation for a younger kid.
Well, if
We'll separate
you
them.
got. the-
I would think separate, if you're gonna really appease to the teenagers, you separate the two wings. They don't
No,
even stay in the
yeah.
same building.
They don't have to worry about
One
it.
end and the other end. It's
Maybe
the
like
better
if
way.
they had music, jukebox or something, or canned music, DVDs or something, CDs, all that sort of
We
stuff.
could,
Well,
could.
you could have.
but a teenager wants to deal with something different from a kid. They're probably gonna do the ping pong table, foosball table, pool table,
Mhm.
probably that Dance America thing. I don't know, that fun thing that they do on Wii.
Well, Wii's
But
good.
then you get,
Wii's good because they can check out the game and we can provide only wholesome games, golf, tennis, football, baseball, dance, those types of things to them, check out.
if you separate it that way, I would like to probably put together, if we go this route, I would like to put together a teenage committee and then let them tell me what they want. I don't have a kid. I think you guys are
Past the age.
past that.
Oh,
I mean, you do. Maybe your kid would wanna sit on the
Committee.
committee, you know?
No, that's a good
I
idea.
think it's a really
Yeah,
good
somebody
idea.
that knows what they
That
like
is a
to
good
do.
Yeah.
idea.
Right,
You got input.
Yeah.
because I worked.
Past us old fogies.
I supervised and set up teen centers, but that was years ago. I don't know if they like anymore.
Would you have two committees then, one for
It'd have to be.
the younger group so that the parents could have some input in that, because the little kids, you know what they want, but it's not what they should have sometimes, you know. And maybe-
No, we could put a committee together, but I get to hear a lot of the parents that have little kids, so I kind of really have my finger on the pulse with that.
Okay, that's
Because that's
fine.
what's currently going.
Okay,
But
that's
the
fine.
14 to 17, I got nothing on that.
I think it's a good idea. Maybe we'll get some of these kids involved.
It is a good
Does
idea.
If
that-
they're not, that aren't
You're
involved.
talking about
now.
the old or the current weight room, or,
Right.
is that air conditioned now?
No,
No.
Did it have?
Yes.
it did.
So it's broke.
It's been down for about 4 or 5 years.
All it needs is a new unit, just like the middle needed in
No, fine, okay. Because I don't think it
it.
would be
It's
fair.
not,
to-
it's not out of our reach.
Yeah, okay. I have no problem with it. I just, want to make sure that we're treating them equally, if you will.
Do you have in all your budgets here, seems like every meeting we come to, there's some high ticket item on the agenda, which probably some of it wasn't budgeted, but if you allow for that this year, a little extra for,
Right, that's why under packet, how I broke it down by departments, and then gave you a little note on the back that told you what the wish list was.
mhm.
So, last year, I was on a job here for 2 months, and a month, and I had to put together the budget. And I'll just give you guys, if I put it in here.
Well, you talked, last week, you talked about the wish list, which is basically, I think you included those items in the particular departments, did you not?
Yeah, but that was sketchy last year. This year it's more.
No, I'm talking about the one,
This
the
year.
meeting we just, the last meeting. we
Right,
had.
because I think it's under the new equipment.
Yeah, the wish list stuff and was, I think, included, so it's
We
already.
didn't have anything on the wish list really that we didn't really need.
Last year.
It's pretty good bonus, there's not a lot extra stuff.
Well, like she said, she was only for a short period of time.
Well, I mean, as far as this is well done.
But yes, we
This
have
is
all the
well done.
big items that I can foresee in the future on this budget. projected in. I'll just let you, these are my projections. 2012 income was 2.5 million. 2013 is projected to be income of 2.3 million. My budget for 2014 is projected income 2.5 million. Okay, get it back up to where we were in 2012. Expenses in 2012 was 2.2 million. 2013 was 2.3 million. My expenses for 2014 budget is 2.2 million. Okay, which gives a P&L of 2012, 307,000. 2013, I'm rolling in right now at 24,000. Profit. 2014, it would be, the new number would be 317,000
Plus, right?
plus. But mind you, this is cash money, this is not your audit. If you look at that back page on your folder there, the graph, that's projected on, an audit, which is gonna include your $450,000 of depreciation and bad debt expense combined, which would then give you a negative, for 2014 audit, of a negative $146,000.
Bring the cord behind.
May, if I may ask.
Yes, sir.
We know this is a sacred cow, but what about the golf club? Projected $77,000 loss. Is there a way to?
Oh, these are some fun
ease
numbers
that up a
too,
little
B.
bit?
That's a lot better than $99,000 last year.
So 2012 fiscal year, you had a deficit of $99,000 at the golf course. 2012, you're rolling at negative 74,000. So there already is almost a $30,000 difference. Okay, your expenses at the golf course are never gonna change. I put together a 5-year report here. Your expenses are always about the same. It's your income. And then on the, if you look at the golf course budget for the pro shop, we're trying to do our own monthly tournament. Last month was our first tournament to do ourselves, and we brought in about $2,200. So I think we've been doing some fun things, like we're gonna have an Oktoberfest golf tournament, October 26th. We're gonna have a turkey trot tournament for November, a Kris Kringle in December, and then a hangover tournament in January, New Year's Day.
January
Is
1st.
this going to increase income?
Yes,
What you
so let me tell you some of these numbers. 2007, you brought in $148,000. 2008, you went to 175. 2009, it dropped down to 159. 2010, dropped down to 137. 2011, you dropped down to 132. 2012, you dropped down to 115. Projected this year, income at 134,000, which would take us to, we're already beating last year's. Remember, 2012 was 115, 2013, we're looking at 134.
And this is because,
Multitude of reasons. We cut expenses. It's been challenging because we've done a complete staff turnover down there. We raised our beer prices. Remember that debacle? Guys are starting to come back around. Everybody's playing nice. We all understand each other. It's cohesive. So for 2014, we're going to cut the expense down to $71,000. And then hopefully we'll keep cutting that down by increasing revenue, by doing tournaments, by maybe focusing on maybe bringing in a women's tournament, like what Los Morris does. You have a men's tournament that's a pretty big one that's held by the men's golf committee. So we keep doing that. We pay attention to what's not selling down there. We don't buy what doesn't sell. We buy things that are going to sell when it comes to the pro shop. We remodeled the green room. We remodeled the pro shop. So you have apparel and things that are down there that people want to buy. We are the cheapest golf rates. We didn't raise our golf rates. Put it in perspective, I think you were there, weren't you? We talked about if I played 6 days a week,
Oh, yeah.
right, and I paid $12, that's my member rate, and I paid $12, I think it equated to almost $3,000 if I played 6 days a week, okay? If I bought an annual membership, it's $650, is that what it is annually? Per person? That's unlimited golf for $650.
Have you made a distinction between some people just wanting to pay 3 months or 6 months when someone?
They do that currently, doesn't work. What's gonna have to happen is you get an annual membership, and if you pay up front, you get a little bit of a discount, like I would love to do for us here. Meaning, next year as we roll into our annual coupons, we'll put a little note in there, we'll be a little bit more on top of our game rolling into next year, and we'll say if you pay your annual membership, assessment fees, you'll get a discount. But anyway, going back to the golf course. If you pay an annual membership up front, maybe get a little discount, and we'll do a 6-month rate, but I think we do away with the quarterly rate. It's too much to keep up with. But I don't wanna raise your golf rates, because once the word gets out, and between Uvalde, San Antonio, Del Rio, we're cheap. You'll have more people coming in, I think, to play cheaper golf at a nice looking golf course for South Texas.
Yeah, I think as our golf course gets better, looks better, plays better, then you can maybe talk about increasing your fees.
I think we probably just need to readjust them, like the quarterly deal and possibly the things that were trail fees and, you know, stuff like that to maybe not make a big jump, but.
Sure.
Because several of those years there, we have, you know, the several years where the revenue went down, the expenses went down, but we made money or lost a lot less. And it'd be interesting to know why in those years we lost a lot less money, because we have a history of, well, from 2004, we only lost $19,000 to change.
That might have been bookkeeping.
Right, I don't know, it could well be, we may actually lost 400,000 and don't know it.
But if you go back to the audit report, they used to put the beer money into your financials.
That's
So the
right,
beer
they're-
money from Los Morris used to go into your golf course income, where that stopped going.
Right,
From
because the
two-
very next year, we lost 67,000, that's a big jump from 19. I mean, how, and then we've been a lot more in that area ever since, but we could,
But you also gotta take a better handle on stuff now,
yeah, hopefully that'll,
you know,
a
that's,
little bit of increase here and there will.
you know, and going, you know, I'm not disputing what you're saying, Roby, but going back 3 or 4 years doesn't matter anymore.
No, and it's,
You know,
like you said,
the only
if
thing
beer
is-
income was not in there, or was in there, it depends on what they did.
Right.
So that may be a fictitious number, depending on what was put in there, and they actually lost more money.
It's possible.
It's possible. I mean, from 2007 to 2012, 2008, it had the least amount of loss, which was 57,000.
Right.
But the fact that that loss has decreased almost $30,000.
In 1 year is a pretty big.
Right,
Huge
that's-
step.
One complaint I hear and heard for years is that maybe if watering the golf course to be separated from watering of the par three, a lot of golfers feel like they're paying for this when they don't use it. Like watering this par three maybe have its own little budget or put in administration or some other department. Is that a possibility? Would that make the golf club look better?
Well, it would, but we're
But
still
they-
paying the money.
What's
Right,
the-
you're still paying the
Yeah.
money.
Still
What's
paying the
actually
money,
charged?
But it shows up
to-
somewhere else, doesn't make a bit of difference.
Well, it makes a difference to a lot of golfers.
Well, I understand, but it is golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, It's a category.
What actually is on the part three is charged to the championship course? I know that.
It's
We
because
have
golf
mowing
ma-
of the greens, right?
Golf maintenance does the mowing of the greens. We pay a night water to come 3 days a week to turn on the water at the par three. Now, you can revamp the par three. I mean, it's a free course. It costs you money. I don't know if you turn it into, this is not this year, I don't think, but maybe down the line, you think about, it's an actual park area where you have maybe frisbee golf. It doesn't take a lot of the maintenance. I think you probably always want to keep it green, just because it's a good focal point. But I would love to see people out there having a picnic and flying a kite or something. I don't know. It looks like to me it should be a park. I don't know.
At least half of it, you could leave half of it.
You know, if we
You know,
were,
because it's 9 holes, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's 4, was it 4 and 5 or 5 and 4? How much, which, 5 in front of the theater, or then 4 on the other, whatever it is.
Four and a half on each side.
Yeah, right. But no, I'm saying this, if people wanted just for the little exercise of the 3, you know, part 3, you could leave half of it as a golf course and, you know, do something else with the other half,
maybe a family park.
something like that.
Isn't the water charged to recreation?
No,
Um,
it's golf course.
It's golf course, it should be golf course.
So our med bill is, say, for example, this month for the golf course, golf maintenance, was $1,800. Now granted, we ran out of some water at the sewer plant, and we had to buy some water, but it was at $1,800.
How much of that was part 3?
I'd have to go back to my itemized bill.
It couldn't have been a big percentage compared to
Nope,
the area of the other one
And they-
versus the area of
We
this
need to
one.
fix the leaks in that place too, that's what
we,
one of the problems.
and trust me, I'm
I know,
we're
I know.
on it.
I know, it's just one of the things that is water usage that,
But what would
Falls
happen
under
if you
pocket
did
money one.
something different with that par 3 now? There's some guys that use it on Monday because the big course is closed. And then your other big population that is on it, on Thursday evenings, you've got the Rio Grande guys who go out there and they play probably like 10, 15 of them, and they're every Thursday. And that's your main usage, Mondays and Thursdays, from core members.
Do Rio Grande non-members pay their $3?
I don't think anybody.
No, because nobody's there collecting. At some point, you're supposed to donate, you're supposed to put in a donation box, so that doesn't work, and it's just been a free-for-all.
Honor system doesn't cut it.
But if you took it to something else in the future, then that then becomes a maintenance. They would be on top of it. The water sprinkler are general maintenance. And it would be something they would be more on top of, which I think it's annoying that golf maintenance has to bring their equipment down here, which is wear and tear between the two. I'm making them now put it on a flatbed trailer
Bring
and
it
pull it
down.
down here. But they're 3 guys compared to our 10 guys in general maintenance.
Well, it's a nice piece of property. It would just be nice to be able to use it more often and have it available. Some people don't think they can use it. Maybe that's a good idea to split the course or something.
However else you can, it is a good focal point for anybody coming on the tour.
And I think it could look better.
Yes.
But it could look better if you had like the general maintenance focusing on it.
But then we could also do the same thing we do at the championship course and put on, like you said, frisbee tournaments or, things like that.
It seems like we get a lot more workshops.
night golf.
Night golf, $1 million a month.
But that's
Don't they play with a
Oh, for
global?
night tournaments?
Yeah, global,
we're-
global.
Yeah. Glow balls, glow sticks.
Whatever they are.
Okay.
Or something.
They have to have their own 19/10 hole or it didn't involve.
Then someday, we just need.
Someday.
We just need
Let's
somebody to win the lottery and
I keep mine
give
tickets.
us $750,000.
that's in our 10-year plan.
One building at a time.
How about the 42,000 we spend on the telephone? When is that?
That
What
was,
can
I
we
think we
do
have
to-
3 more years on that lease.
And we're still paying, what's on there besides telephones? Is that some of the tops thing and the computers yet?
No.
Nope. Nope. The phone that consists of we've got AT&T we pay, you've got PacWest we pay for long distance, we have, God, what is their name?
Is there any way we can limit that or reduce it or?
No.
They signed a lock stock contract that I cannot get out of, but for $35,000 loan on your phones. We pay $2,000 a month for the use of those phones, and then you got all your lines.
That's just unbelievable. I mean,
It is. I
If you
can't
have a
get out of
solid
it. I've
contract,
read it
they
and
know
read it
you
and
can't
read
Does
it.
the
break
phone
it.
work in the adult center?
As the phone, yeah, the phone works in
Yeah,
adult center.
fixed.
It is fixed for all those people that go there flooding the adult center.
But definitely something we're gonna need to address when the
I
contract's.
will tell you, I had an $897 electric bill for the adult center in the lobby this month.
Yeah, that's a little, that and the phone bill are just unbelievable. I mean, that's unaffordable by any means.
The adult center's just a money thing. It always has been.
Well, if you take that $55,000 loss for the recreation pool, that area,
Mhm.
$55,000 loss, and compare it to a $71,000 loss. The percentage is much higher against the recreation budget than it is against the golf budget.
Definitely.
We'll
Maybe,
get,
but you got more people probably in service by recreation
No, I don't,
than you do the golf membership.
Even so, the loss is great, it
I'm
still
not sure,
stands
if
out.
you go down to the recreation area any day, you're not gonna see nearly as number of golfers are on any given day on the course,
Well,
or
there's more
buying
to it,
memberships.
it's more to it than just that.
Well, no, but I'm looking at what's available here, the golf brings in, well, you just tell them the money
150
that it
grand.
brings. Yeah.
recreation doesn't bring anything, it's amenity, it was set for an amenity to your
It's
membership.
pure
And
amenity.
currently, right now, it's kind of embarrassing to go show somebody new, because the amenity's kind of embarrassing. Between the adult center, where, you know, the swim park, next year, that'll be initiated where your guests are paying at the top of the gate. So it'll probably detour some people for a while, but ultimately, that during the summer should help pay for itself, because we incur the expenses of payroll, the lifeguards, and the
And that's the
security down
reali-
there.
And that's the
That's
reality
the
of what you're
reality.
talking about. You have to look at
Right.
all of these entities to have to pay for themselves. You
Right.
just
Or-
can't keep carrying them.
Or at least break even, we're not gonna close the pool down, even though we
Exactly.
lose money on that area down there.
Exactly.
But that's what I was saying, I mean, the golf course is different in the fact that the golf set course sells in, memberships, in addition to your regular membership. The pool and all the other recreation amenities, unless we start charging $10, like the weight room.
Well, the bottom line
That is truly an amenity, the golf course is a luxury you pay for if you wanna belong to it, so that's the
Bottom line
difference.
is, red ink is red ink, regardless of what.
Right,
True.
that's,
But again, all these things draw people to the fort. I'm sure that if you close the pool, you have some people getting really upset. Close the golf course, you probably lose people from the fort.
Will save $77,000.
No,
Well,
no.
You better leave that hornet alone, Dave.
Yeah.
there's way more golfers in here than there are recreation people.
People, thank you, Roby.
Doesn't matter what the recreation department loses, the golf course is gonna be a charity. Yeah, both of them gotta limit their losses, that's, I don't know what we're gonna do to them, but we gotta do something.
Well, I think as you said, with the
We had that
golf course.
$42,000 phone bill swacked off the recreation deal, it'd be almost profitable. I just can't believe we pay $42,000 for telephone. My God, that's just, Kennedy County shouldn't pay $42,000 for telephone.
It's frustrating,
Yeah.
it's incredibly frustrating.
That they locked us into that. I mean,
Well,
Well, we signed up for it.
How long ago was that?
2012,
that's when Ron was here.
2011, 2012?
2012?
Fiscal year 2011, 2012.
Yeah, Ron signed that contract.
Mhm.
you know,
Is this
and there's no way we
AT&T?
can get out of it.
No, that was with a company out of San Angelo.
A year later, we think it's expensive.
Yeah.
It was really expensive when they
God,
signed
what
us
is
up
it
for
called?
GTE.
No.
It's a lot of money.
It's unbelievable.
I know, it is.
And then maybe then, you know, in the next few months, I'll try to write out a whole plan, like a 5-year plan. Because, I mean, it's all in my head, and there's been various people I've talked to about it, but the upstairs at the hospital, I would love to see that lobby area and upstairs turned into like a B&B lodging. You get a kitchen downstairs, needs some work. Upstairs would be easy to convert into rooms, because you got showers. Of course, it's down in the adult center area, but it's doable. And with our hunt continuing to increase, places for people to stay, whether it be wedding parties or, who
It
knows,
is-
just
it
big
is
family
doable.
reunions.
I looked at it once before, and I don't know if anybody else has, but part of our problem is that it's so open, and you have to divide the openness out of it and stop all of what's going up. That's causes a lot of what we are in the air, because there's an air unit upstairs as well as downstairs. You know, that you have to divide out and make it so we don't lose as much as we're losing. You know, and we can shut out the electrical upstairs that when we put on downstairs, everything upstairs is gone. It's just something that we have to look at as an overall plan.
What kind of furniture is in the adult center? some historic stuff.
Oh, boy.
What we're working on right now is, since I've been busy with some other stuff, the idea is there, we cleaned up some things in Adult Center. The plan is to have a Fort Clark garage sale. Between some stuff I've got down in maintenance that's been stored, like desk and things of this nature that we don't need anymore, things that are over the Adult Center, games that just haven't been touched or played, along with some other furniture and whatnot that just isn't, it was donated and it's not pretty. So to have a garage sale, clean that stuff out. Matt's security office used to be at the Adult Center. When you first walk in the door, there's a room to the right. He cleaned that out, and I want that to be made into an emergency center where it has all of our first aid kits. It would have some dry freeze food, you'd have watery batteries, flashlights, the cots would be there, blankets and pillows, so that if we get into a situation where we have to really use that facility, we have an emergency shelter with equipment and supplies. So it would be set up to where you could be a focal point to go, and you'd have all the amenities that you need for a real evacuation plan.
As it stands now, everything's on the top floor.
Yeah. And those cots aren't much to speak of.
That's a time thing. Some of the stuff we can get rid of that, in case you people don't know. We have a thing coming up on the 26th and 28th, where we can get rid of all of our excess electrical equipment like that.
Old computers, keyboards.
Anything that plugs in,
That's what this is, right?
Yes.
Does everybody
including,
have one? Is that what you
including
want?
these
Yes,
things,
pass them.
all the wiring and everything.
Oh, maybe you can
We
get in the
can
newspaper.
bring them down to the recycling center, we'll put them on a special truck that's there. It isn't gonna cost us anything, we can get rid of it all and we get paid for it.
I talked to Alva Gutierrez at the school today, and she says, really? Let me know when. So,
I have one, you got the original back there?
Yes, it's in my office.
Okay.
Do you need it?
do we have dates? Is
I'd
the
like
date
to have
set?
it back.
Has the date been set yet?
I'm awful, huh?
Yeah, you said the 28th and 27th and 28th?
26th and 28th.
This month, I mean, October or September?
September.
This month. And what we're bringing in is like a 53-foot box. They're gonna drop the box, and they'll pick it up on the following Monday. They'll bring us pallets, and they'll bring us gaylords, which are the boxes, and that'll be for the small stuff. And the pallets, we'll put the big stuff on, and we'll do a shrink wrap. You know what shrink wrap is, I'll show you. And it goes around it, and then we take the forklift, load it onto the truck, and, you know, everything ships out on Monday. Hopefully, we can get rid of a lot
One of
here.
these dates,
26th and
26th,
28th. It's a
28th.
Thursday and a Saturday.
Gotta get word, gotta get this over to the
Hopefully,
school.
we got something coming out in the paper, in both papers. I know that Judy has contacted both papers. And hopefully, it'll be out in the paper, the next edition.
We'll put some flyers up around as well.
Yeah, that was the idea, having coffee, so we can put flyers up at the restaurant, golf course, everywhere.
Adult center.
Up at the RV park,
Get to
and
the school,
to the school, in the,
city hall.
yep, city hall,
Signboard?
yep, any signboard we can find. That's the idea. But to have a functional list, that's what I wanted to get out, you people could see it anyways, you know, you can see what's there, and there are some things you can't, and they're on the back. So I think that'll be good. For us especially, we have a tremendous
A lot.
amount of old equipment.
Crap.
That too.
Say it like it is.
Yeah.
Okay, crap.
Monday, the videographer will be here, the one that's gonna do our video loop. He's here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly Thursday. So I'm trying to get interviews set up with members. And think of people. I'm gonna try to get the mid-30s group, family, Border Patrol, Air Force people, longtime residents, to Winter Texan type people, to golfers, just to kind of showcase
General mix.
everybody that we have here.
Can he only come like next week?
It's it.
Yes, one.
I was just thinking it'd be nice if he could come back when the Winter Texans are here. You know, I mean, that would be,
I just had to,
Right.
beg, steal, and borrow to get this time.
you know.
And I was hoping I could get him past, because the Seminole called Seminole, it's next weekend, the 21st.
Seminole annual, their annual celebration,
Right.
Seminole Indian Scout celebration.
I was hoping that he could come that week, but it has to be the 16th. 16th, 17th, 18th. So he gets here the 16th, I'll show him around the place. We'll set up a whole agenda for Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll strategically map it out on Monday, but I'm just trying to get a pool of people. It might not make the cut, but at least we have,
Is he gonna do a
Footage.
little blurb on the hunting too?
yep, it's gonna be,
Yeah,
I'll take him out to
everything.
some of the hunting spots.
What if somebody that knew how to video stuff, can he cut and splice or mix and match digitally if they did something from the Seminole or whatever's coming up and send it to him?
I would have to ask him, I mean, this is the guy that does the videos for PBS, so he's pretty professional. So I don't know if he could take some amateur video and make it work within whatever
Yeah.
package he's making for us. And then, I'll probably say this again on the 21st board meeting, but hopefully I can arrange with you guys to meet. 3 weeks ago, I had these gentlemen come in from Houston who sits on the national board for the Buffalo Soldiers. And he was looking at the facility to eye up for their 2016 national 150th year anniversary to be here.
We should
So-
lobby for that.
We are going to make a pitch to the National Buffalo Soldiers Society in 2014 for this to be the place. And this guy is completely excited, so excited, because I took him on a tour of all the trails and where the Buffalo Soldiers used to be and whatnot. And he is so gung-ho to put together a $150,000 bronze life-size statue, memorial, to be unveiled at the 2016 convention, which would bring in about 200 to 300 people for 7 days, charter bus from Del Rio to here. And he's shooting for the stars. He's talking about having President Obama or the First Lady be here for the unveil. I mean, this
The
man
outgoing
is
president.
gung-ho. Regardless of where you stand politically, that would be a huge thing, no matter who the president is.
By the way, have you seen
Office.
Bill Hahn's latest,
I did, and I responded back.
and that on the Pecos Trail?
Yep. I said, thank
That-
you.
That's very good. Very good. If anybody hasn't seen it, they should look at it.
He just got some stuff put in the Pecos Trail newsletter about Fort Clark and
Oh,
the
good.
historicals,
Yes.
and that was very appreciative. So between now and next, on your board packets, I'll make any tweaks. If you guys want to send some emails, conversations back and forth, I'll put together the final one to be voted on that will be in your board packets on Wednesday of next week. I'll try to get that out sooner.
How are we gonna administer this? Because that number's in there, we're just, I mean, you're just gonna spend it, or do we approve every item still that you're spending?
No, you're
No,
approving
you
everything
approve-
that's in
you
here.
approve the whole budget.
Right, but then when it comes to spend the 60,000 on whatever?
No.
We don't approve it then?
No, you're
You just-
approving it now.
When you approve the whole budget, that's it.
Really, that is a extremely, I was so surprised when she came and brought it in at that figure.
I can solicit other bids, and we can decide
Well,
on what
just-
contractor you wanna go with.
Right, just to approve them, you know, once we start on whatever project it is. I don't, if it's gonna buy a new tractor for the maintenance, whatever it is, the extra money.
Oh, if it goes over dollar amount?
Well, if you're gonna buy a $5,000 lawnmower, like you did the other day.
Right.
Or we approved the other day, all these things are still gonna come before us to approve prior.
If something like that that's not on your budget now that you're approving, and it's something crazy happens, and I need a tractor that I did not budget for, then that
Okay,
has to
but
come
everything
to
on
you.
this budget we're approving, we'll never get to see again for approval of spending that money.
No, that's what the
Not
budget's
unless
for.
it goes over.
Yeah,
Not Unless it
there's,
goes over what she's projected.
Or the plan proposal.
Right.
correct.
If it alters. That's the
That's-
idea of
and
having a
that's-
budget.
And that's, all those things are listed in here about the
The only thing you
hotel.
don't
and-
budget for is the emergency problems,
Right.
No.
and that's,
You can't.
which could be.
So you may or may not use the $50,000 deductible for insurance, because we may or may not have a claim. So,
Well, we should have that on standby forevermore.
well, you have that. It's
It's
just,
in
you're
there.
just, it's there. So, this is why you guys have to really think about, you approve this budget, we're approving FRM, or renters having an FRM. You're approving the levy. Now, you can discuss whether you want it to be $40, or per membership, or some other number.
That's where that's where it comes together.
That's where,
That's where it
yes.
comes together and we talk about it, okay, this is what we wanna levy as the dollar. Yeah, but
And-
it's in the budget to do it.
As a matter of courtesy, it'd be nice for us to be informed of some big ticket items that you might be purchasing in the course of next year.
This is what this is for. This is what I can foresee that we physically
Right.
need that are big purchase items.
If they aren't the ones that are listed specifically in the budget, which is on the original copy of it, then that's something we have to approve.
Yeah, we have to come back and go over it. Yes.
Like, for instance, if they got into the motel stairways and everything was totally rotted out and the bid wasn't any good, then we would have to go back. and
You would
do it
have to
again.
go back and readjust.
Whatever the item is,
Bids.
if it's an adjustment that has to be made, it has to come back to the board for approval.
I mean, your hot topics are the FRM renters, and your other hot topic is the levy.
Mhm.
So those are the ones you're gonna catch heat on.
Well, I'm worried about spending all the money without knowing exactly what we're getting for it.
Well, Roby, every month when you have your financials, you'll know that, hey, I just made this dent on the motel. So out of the 60,000, we just spent for renovation $5,000 this month. Like, you're still gonna see that. And then I'm not gonna sit there and go after certain months. If I see I got higher expenses, like October, November, well, September, October, November, we've got high expenses. So I'm not out like willy-nilly, let's spend the money. Cause I don't wanna, I gotta do the balance. But you'll still see that, how we're spending it. And then the levy, $105,000, it goes strictly to Seminole Hall. That's your focal point. To chip away at plumbing and electricity to turn back into original barracks for camps. Boys and Girl Club, church camps.
Something to make money on.
Charge for it.
Then we pick the next building and vote on that next year.
In reality too, you know, these figures, no matter what you wanna put down, can fluctuate.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, just take, for example, electricity, you kind of, you know, evened it out. That doesn't mean there won't be a rate increase on your electricity, and now you're gonna be, whoops, we got a problem, you know. But you have to assume for now that you're doing what's gonna work.
And we also may end up spending less.
Exactly. If you go the other way
$60,000
too.
for the motel, and you turn out.
But when we approve the expenditure of funds every month, those funds have already been spent. Us approving them doesn't,
But your approval is a transfer, it's your electric bill, it's your phone bill, it's the things that are, and if it's anything out of the ordinary, I can't buy it without your approval.
well, we don't know what, the hundred and some thousand, whatever money we transfer every month, we don't know what it went for.
What goes
just-
to your,
Went to whatever.
Operating expenses.
Yeah, that's a big,
but you see that there's no mystery, like, there's no mystery. The mystery would be if you sit there and watch the gauges of transfers and you had a spike, then you're like, Jody, what did you just buy? You're fired because you didn't have approval. So it's not, there's no mystery. It's not a mystery transfer of funds.
But, you know, the budget doesn't look very fat. I mean, it looks like it's pretty bare bones. I mean, no one's asking for the moon. The motel brings in a lot of money, it really needs to be upgraded, and that's basically one of the larger expenses. And for all the work that needs to be done over there, I think that's a.
I'm not arguing about spending the 60,000 on a motel, I'd just like to see it going out the door as we spend it, like, okay, we're gonna spend this much next month on doing whatever we're gonna do to it. I would like to see that and approve that. You know, we've got the money set up to do it. I don't wanna spend $60,000 and then find out we got one new ice machine out there. There's no way to stop that.
I think we'll get that report every month, right over there, as the money is
All right,
spent.
so we would do one phase, like you do Patton Hall first, right? So you would do one room maybe, and then you can go over and say, oh yeah, I like this, Jody. We can continue on with the other 37 rooms. Or you do with the porch and the staircase on Patton Hall. Yeah, I love it, great. Let's go ahead and spend the other 15,000.
Right.
That's fine. I mean,
Right.
this is not, I mean, I don't know what you think I'm gonna go do.
I'm not accusing you of doing anything, it's just the financial responsibility of us. We allocated 60 Gs to work on the
Sure.
motel, and you could probably spend 120 Gs on the
Like,
motel.
right.
So how do we know what we're spending the 60 Gs on?
I just have it spelled out in your
Right there,
packet. It
replace flooring in
says, stair,
37 rooms,
right here, it's broke up.
staircases.
Here's the breakup. Porches, the two porches, going back to tongue and groove, the original type of material you're supposed to have on the porch. And the staircases, the two staircases, you widen them and they go longer, right? So you have the right degree. So that alone, those two things, porches and stairs, $15,000. Material, labor, everything out the door, okay? So the rooms, I'm looking at about $1,200 to $1,300 per room. Now, each room is not the same size, so you got a little bit more square
Right.
footage. It's based off of the paint. It's taking about 5 gallons of paint to paint bathroom and the room. So then, you have the flooring. The flooring's about 900 square feet. Sorry, I'm lying, 300 square feet.
Right, it's a lot less than that.
300 square feet. So, and that was the vinyl plank flooring, is what we got. Dark color, glad to take you over and show you the room right here on the end that we did do, so I could take a picture to put in the new brochure. The TVs, it's broken out to where I think it was 30.
16, 30 inch.
Right, and what was it, like $3,500, $3,000?
$3,200.
$3,200. So that's including the wall mount. And I'm not gonna go buy, because I can't afford it right off the bat to buy 36 TVs. I would do it in increments. As it was a high season, I can afford to do this. And I would not do both buildings at the same time. It was just how can we afford to do this, and it's gonna take time. I know that the current person I'm gonna bid on, based off of this budget, he can get Patton Hall done, the porches, the porch, and the staircase in 1 week. It takes him about a day and a half per room to do the paint and the flooring.
I think what Roby's asking is that when you give us your monthly report,
I can see.
you just say that we have, so far on the motel, we have done this, and we've used $5,000, $3,000, whatever. Just as a general statement that this is what's going on, and that tells them where the money's going.
Oh, I'd love to take pictures and throw them up so everybody can see on my DO
I think
report.
that's a really good idea.
It
for a meeting
should be,
anyway.
I mean, that's, you know, we ought to see what we're getting, everybody should see where our money's going.
Well, sure.
Sure, take before and afters and.
Well, and, you know, if you're gonna do 3 rooms,
Whether it's.
I think you, this month,
You
if
get
your
your
plan to
report.
do 3 rooms this month, I think we should approve whatever money it's gonna cost to do the 3 rooms this month from this 60,000. Okay, you wanna do 3 rooms? You present it to us at the board, we're gonna do 3 rooms, buy a tractor and a lawnmower.
No.
This is how much money we need from the money that's budgeted.
No, what you're missing on the point is you will approve this budget. You will approve everything that's going to be done for the fiscal year. What she brings you back is accountability of what she has done. She presents it to you in the form of a report every month.
And when she does that, the money has already been spent.
Exactly.
But you
But you've
already
already-
approved
It's
it.
already there,
budgeted.
it's already in the
You
bank to
budgeted
be
for it.
spent, it's sitting right there.
It's
We've
been-
just given her $60,000 to fix the motel.
Exactly.
It's in reserve
Yeah.
for just that.
And it's going
And
to be
now
spent.
she's gonna pick the timeframe, she's gonna pick, you know, hopefully, she's, like she said, if she expects a slow month on money coming in, she may not do that much work that month, so we don't have to spend that much. And, you know,
Otherwise, there's no purpose, I mean, otherwise there'd be no reason to have a budget. Every month we would review expenses and
There's
get
not
them
a
right.
budgetary concern in the world that doesn't do it that way. They don't just throw money out and say, okay, there you go, get it. Or they've got a detailed line item thing for what that money's going for when they approve it.
Well, if you want, I suppose she
disagree.
can give you the estimate of what it takes to do that, so you can look at
Well,
how she did
it's
it.
not, that's not the best financial option for the fort or her. Because now you can pick and choose people to do what you can get done for what money. As opposed to one guy doing the whole thing locked in at that price. If they could get it done cheaper, they've still got this guy locked in. having a line item for everything, and it'll change. All this, that's,
If somebody came in with a lesser bid for comparable things, she'd still have the same authority to get the work done. She could just, at a meeting say, "Bye, I saved us $1,000 by getting another bid on this." But if you don't wanna get bids as you go through the years, you'll never get anything done.
Well, we're not locking her into a
No,
contract.
this isn't a contract, this is the bid that she has.
Right.
Somebody comes along and said, "I can do it for 55,000, and you do a better job, and it looks like it's of equal quality and not much time," then there's the option to go with a lower bid. But we're putting a budget together right now, you'd spend all year doing the budget by getting bids on everything you wanted to do.
I just put a budget together for our
I know, I did budget.
department over there, and
That was one department, Roby, one department. You're talking about, we have 7 departments here.
Well-
And I have every single paperwork that you wanna come down and sit with me and we'll go over it. And I get what you're getting at, that I can, before we go to doing construction, I'll get 3 bids and I'll have every single contractor write out line item by line item how much everything's gonna cost.
well, the Fort
And then
needs
if-
that, right?
If, that's fine.
Well,
But I'm budgeting right now, you're planning. You may or may not, I could've done all that homework, and then I didn't know what you guys wanna do. You could say, "I don't wanna do that this year, it's not my call." All I
Right.
do is get you the information, lay the plan out, and then you decide.
and I think that we should spend the money on the motel. I would just like to keep track of it as it goes out the door.
Which she should be doing in her monthly DO report at the budget meeting, at our,
And then once you have a line item by the bids, we don't start anything until you have the line item, you see it, you get to see it in closed session, as a contract, and then you decide. And you know exactly what you're getting. How many gallons, it's worked out, he already gave me the breakdown. You wanna see it? I didn't know if you wanna do this. I could include that for you, but I'm also gonna get 2 other bids from 2 other contractors.
We don't need to see it to approve the money, but before we actually spend the money, we probably need to see that.
But you just contradicted 5 minutes ago when you're saying that this isn't typical how you do a budget and you don't
No,
want
I
to
didn't.
improve
It's not
financial
typical how the-
responsibility.
I have a budget for whatever it is.
For your one department, Del Rio, I get it.
And any money that goes out of any line item gets approved prior to it going, even though it's in there.
That's a town.
It's a
And
budget.
town- but
It's
towns-
financial accountability.
Towns do it different.
Yeah,
I
they're
had- I had-
legally bound to be
I had a-
accountable of their money.
Well, I had a
Well, we're
college budget,
accountable with our
and all
money.
my college budgets ran like this. That thing was approved, and I went and spent the money that I had to, for the job. I didn't have to go back and ask the board.
the
I
assumption.
You know,
had a
it was all
recreation department
approved.
budget, which was part of the city, that I was responsible for.
Well, the whole city just finished, we had 308 pages of $69 million.
The assumption is
And
that-
every department did it in a
I
month.
feel like you just need this, I mean, that's fantastic, and I'm sure you are doing an amazing, outstanding job, and I feel like we say these all the time, like you wanna come and, oh, go Roby, and here's my graph, and here's what I did, and here's what I do. Like, I appreciate that, I think that you're phenomenal, I love your enthusiasm with accountability, but Jesus, I don't know if you just want a gold star all the time.
No, I don't want to gold star at all. I just would like to approve, make sure our money, we're,
I have not steered you wrong in 1 year, not in 1 year.
You know, if we approve the money for her to spend, we are going, and I hate the word assume, but we are going on the assumption that she is fiscal responsibility and will know to spend it the right way and not just throw it away. We have to give her that benefit that that's what she's gonna do. She put the budget together with that in mind, so now she's gonna spend
And-
it that way.
I
And I
don't
wrote it-
distrust Jody, but they did
No, I'm
the
not-
same thing with that $42,000 phone bill that we're still eating.
You're talking about, you're punishing me for something that we weren't responsible
So
for.
I'm not punishing you for doing it, I'm just saying, we approved the money for you
But,
to do the
but
job.
she says, but you didn't hear what she said also. If she gets 3 bids, we in executive session are gonna pick the contractor who's gonna do the work based on his bid, and which will include the list of all he's gonna spend. So we are going to be the one who says, hire this guy, let him do it, because that's what's gonna be done.
Well, everybody just interjected that because earlier in the conversation, it was we approve 60 Gs, we give her approval to take 60 Gs and do these things on the motel.
Well, as far as
And
I
I've received the
essentially,
money
that's
again.
what you are
Basically,
doing.
that's what we're doing.
That's what you're doing. And I've done 5 budgets for 5 different companies. The MS Society, the American Cancer Society, go down the whole list, the Second Chance Ranch. And then once you approve it, I didn't have to go back every month and say, oh, then I'm gonna spend 50,000 of this 200,000 that you gave me approval for. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it does, everywhere I've been.
No, it doesn't, not when you have a board. That's the manager. The manager manages everything we approve.
Like I
Well,
said,
Roby, what, I mean, you can't not approve a budget and hold it up for budget season because you want to count the gallons of paint. Is that what you're asking?
No.
If she gives,
She's
if
counting
Jody
the
would,
dollars.
if Jody would give you the bids for all of these things that we're putting in the budget,
Would-
the cost of the chainsaws and the cost of the paint and everything to you, would that help you?
No.
So what
Because
you're.
that's not a guarantee that that's what we're gonna buy.
Okay, so are you saying that you don't,
If you budget $50 to buy a chainsaw in the budget, and the chainsaw is gonna cost $150, she can't buy it
no,
without us approving the additional $100.
but
Well,
it
you-
costs $49.95, we've already given her the
The fif-
50
yeah,
bucks.
the
You
$50.
can
I
sit
don't
at the
wanna
water
hear it.
board down there, and they don't have a giant budget to spend a ton of money on stuff. And they approve their bills, even though the budget, they approved the budget for the year. They've approved whatever money they're gonna
They
spend
approve the
stuff on.
bills every month, which is what
And
we
they-
do here.
After they're paid,
Well, how are you gonna approve them if they're
Well,
not paid?
Roby, do you wanna see every bill that comes through this place?
You can't
How do you
approve
pay
it
You're
for
before
here
it?
every
they
day,
pay.
all day long, you might as well quit your job over there.
well, the people that work on the water board don't have to quit
Okay,
their
but
jobs.
we're not the water board.
the
We're
water board
here.
has one thing.
We're
And you know how many
here.
bills do we have? Is love to compile every single bill for whenever you're, bored and you wanna go through every single line item by line item. I would challenge you to do it. I would welcome you to do that, because then maybe you'll have an appreciation and quit comparing apples and oranges and actually start seeing what actually goes on behind these closed doors. Instead of trying to accuse and be.
I'm not trying to accuse
It
anybody of
is,
anything.
it is, like.
You got a
it's-
guilty
it-
conscience or something.
Guilty
Everybody
conscience?
jumps to being defensive for
No,
some
I just
reason.
think
Do
we're,
you-
I just think
do
we're
you-
making it harder.
When
than
your,
it is.
when your wife goes out, you give your wife food money to go buy groceries. When she goes out and spends the money on the groceries, do you ask her to show you line by line what she spent? Well, that's what you're asking her to do. But you've given her the money ahead of time, which is the budget she has.
Okay.
She spends it, hopefully,
We're not,
frugally.
we're not spending our money, we're spending everybody else's money.
Yeah, but it's the
here.
same-
I
It's the
think it's
same-
funny that
Hell
you act
yes,
like you're
that's
trying
what
to be
runs this
fiscally
place.
responsible when you don't come to the table with any ideas, any support. It's about distension and creating distension as opposed to working to the greater good of this fort. And talk about a guilty conscience, you sit up there and you make distinction. You didn't say anything last week on Wednesday when we were all together behind those closed doors. Now you got an audience, you got a little camera on, now you wanna start bringing up stuff?
Well, last time we were here,
Really?
everybody had to leave for a volleyball game. We had to run out pretty quick.
We were there for an hour and a half.
And we were still discussing stuff.
And you didn't say anything. Actually, you didn't even follow in line because you had your whole thing torn apart. You wouldn't even follow me because you couldn't even keep up asking me things that I completely spelled out for you.
Okay,
I
guys,
don't know where
let's,
you got that from, but
let's-
anyway,
let's
I
not
didn't
get-
wanna start an argument and a whole
Well-
argumentative deal. I just asked.
This is very
that-
simple, simple. So you can sit here and tear it apart. It's not, fine, I will give you bids.
I was just asking that we would approve the money prior to it actually being spent on each project. And the answer is
Roby, then
no.
what's the point of doing a budget?
Budget.
Okay.
You just got on to me because we put things on the agenda that wasn't planned in the budget, and you just said, both of you just said, are we gonna do that this year? No, it's all right here. I spelled it out, broke it out by department. Simplified it. I could give you a 306-page budget if you choose to have that, but I don't think you read the 11 pages that I already gave you.
I read every one of them.
Okay, I have a question because I don't understand.
Okay.
This should not become a battle here. We're all trying to work towards.
It wasn't meant to be a
common
battle.
good. But straighten me out. I'm confused. I mean, we've all had budget experience at one thing. They've all been different things. So budgets are pretty much tuned in to whatever kind of business or function your organization is, right? So they can be different. My question is, take for example, the $60,000. We're okaying $60,000 to be spent on the motel. So we've already said the $60,000 is going to carry, it's going to be $40,000 to paint and replace the flooring in 37 rooms. $15,000 to remodel 2 staircases and porches. We're going to buy 16 30-inch flat screen TVs with wall mounts for $3,200. Commercial dryer for $1,300 and new sheets. That's what the $60,000 is for. So we know exactly where that money's gonna go. That's where it's gonna go. So as long as it doesn't go to some other place, or it's not more than that, we are already approving that. So if paint, replace flooring in 37 rooms comes in at $39,500, why would we have to approve it again? We've already approved $40,000. As long as it doesn't go over this information in the budget, I don't understand why you would need to approve it a second time.
Because of the $42,000 $42,000
It
phone
has
bill we get
nothing
for
to
a ton
do
of other
with
things
it.
that have happened to the fort in the past.
It has
Now,
nothing to
everybody
do
there
with
thought
it.
they were doing a good deal at the time.
I wasn't there.
Neither was I, but whoever was here, I don't think maliciously thought we're gonna sink the fort.
Okay, but was that part of the budget?
I have no idea.
Do we know?
I don't have a
If it
clue.
was budgeted that year for, based on some sort of estimate, and the board gave approval for it, doesn't mean it was gonna stop it. She could have gone out and paid the $42,000 after the fact. In other words, if Jody goes out and wants to spend the $60,000, she comes back to us and says, I'm gonna get it for 55. You can't come back and say, well, I don't like the way you spent it because I'm not gonna approve it. I'm gonna vote not to approve it, even though she's under her budget. Are you taking that option as a possibility?
No, I think that she probably will spend it correctly. What she said earlier, she has no track record of doing the wrong thing with it.
Well, and as.
Every time she's spent money, or we've approved money, we didn't have to come back and pony up more money or got
In fact, she's always been
something
way
else
ahead.
that we didn't think we were getting.
So
What's your
what will
problem?
we accomplish, both in time and effort and actual success, by having to approve these things twice? I mean, I'm genuinely asking you, I'm not trying to make a point, I'm
Right,
just
and
asking.
my position is, okay, we're gonna redo this one room, and if you take these numbers apart, that's gonna cost $5,000 for one room. And she says, okay, we got one room, I think we can do 3 this month, I wanna use $15,000 of that 60. What do you say? Get after it. We know, now we got $45,000 left, and it works out on the numbers.
I know, but can't we do that now?
But we don't have any control over where our money went. The board doesn't,
Well, yeah, it's gotta go exactly right here, or we have a big discussion with Jody.
We have the control, and the
And
control
the
comes
control
back
is
to us
there.
every month telling us
When
where
she
the money
tells
was
us
spent.
in her director of operations report. But it's not, I mean, would you,
She's reporting
what
that.
what would it require you to have right now to vote yes on the budget? We're
I'm not-
voting on numbers, not.
I'm not precluding voting yes on the budget. I asked, were we ever gonna see the disbursement of these monies again before they were actually dispersed? That was my question.
Why
She
would
comes
you-
back
why
and
do you
says, I
have
found
to?
a sheep's foot for the landfill. It's 15.5, we budgeted 14.9, 17,000, whatever we did, whatever the number is.
18.
Okay. She got it cheaper than that. We know where the money went. That
So-
money went out the door. We approved it. We approved the budget for it, to gather it up, to put it in here, and then we gave her approval to buy the thing with it.
That's true.
So it's a
So
double
why do you wanna-
safeguard,
So why do you wanna approve the money again?
just so we know where it went.
That
What
doesn't
about
make
if she
any
just,
sense.
what if she?
The
I
report
mean,
come
in
back
the
and tell
director's
you where it
report, she
came-
tells
where
you
it
where it
went.
goes. The only option you have is to say yes or no. You can't say no because you're budgeting for it. If you don't budget for it, it's not gonna be there to spend. So if, that's what, I guess that's the part that I don't get. Because if we're giving her the $60,000 based on these figures, obviously she might find them for less,
Right.
right? These figures, we're telling her it's okay, we're gonna go spend that. I have no objection to her coming back to me and telling me in her director's report, okay, we did 14 rooms this month, or 4 rooms this month, or whatever, and they fell within budget, this is what we did. I have no problem with that. I don't need to have Lee say, those in favor, yes, those not, because we've already approved what needs to be done. If it comes in over that, she has no choice but to bring it back to us. If that commercial dryer, she can't get one for less than, for $1,300 less, she's gonna have to come back to us so we can give her another $200 to spend $1,500. So on the items that are below budget, I guess, I'm not trying to be thick, where we really.
No,
I'm not picking on you.
The point of that was you just have extra control over where your money's going as it goes. You're not gonna disprove it.
But just
You know,
being, do you wanna vote on every bill that we have to pay if it's within budget?
Pretty much, yeah.
Why?
Why?
We're gonna.
Because I'd like to say, that's why the Ford is in the shape it's in today, is because other people did not do that. The money went somewhere.
I beg your pardon, for a year, we've been completely open and transparent. I've shown you everywhere your money has been spent, open and transparent for 1 year. I cut expenses, we lost 27 people, and I still kept this place alive, and we thrived. You continue to have cleanup around here, I continue to make things better, and I find that very insulting, because you want to compare what happened 2 years ago. Look at last year.
Well, probably the last director of operations felt that way too, and look where that got
Your
us.
last director of operations, God bless him, and God bless the other DOs, because I went back and I went through all these files, I'm not gonna sit here and point names, but what happened in your budget before, they would take that final number for the year in each department, and they would just add a percentage to it, and that's what you got.
Oh, I-
You can ask anybody, I can throw this up next Saturday for all the people to see like I did last year, and that's more than they've ever gotten in 30 years.
That doesn't mean that's what they deserve,
Hey,
Hey.
you know,
just because it's more than they
Hey,
got.
we need
I'm not
to-
saying that you're doing a bad
Hey.
job.
come on,
I really
let's,
don't
let's,
care if you do or you don't.
let's get back
You
to.
do what's right.
Let's get back to where we're supposed to be now. Okay, I'm just gonna say this, and I said it to you the other day when we were in the other meeting. Budget's operated out of the general fund. This budget is operating out of a standard that we are setting. It's accountable by line items. If you go over your line item, you're held accountable. You don't get what you want. It's as simple as that. This is a true budget. It's not a haphazard budget like we had in the past. This is what we've been shooting for these last few years. Now, if you can't understand that, then you don't really understand a budget and how it works. No, I'm serious. You know,
That's
I've
the
heard you,
sad
I've
part.
been listening to you for the last, couple of trips around on this, and you just seem to have a narrow vision of what you think a budget is, and you're holding it up against something that has gone by before, here. We're not accountable for what went by before. It has nothing to do with us as a board today. This has everything to do with us as a board today, of what we're trying to make this place accountable, and to go forward, and to be profitable, and to make it a better place for everybody that's living here. Now, if you can't see that, and you have to take and squeeze every nickel and dime, then you're looking at things entirely wrong. I'm serious. It's about time you open your eyes and stop looking at the past. Look at where we're going now. And I think that's enough for tonight.
We can't
Let's
do-
cut it short.
We can't do anything about what happened before.
No, we
can
can't.
only try and do it right in the future.
Somehow y'all thought that we weren't doing it right, or I was not gonna approve it, I don't know where all that came from. And it didn't mean to be argumentative to start with.
Well,
No, it got that way.
Well, that would be your fault, not mine.
Maybe.
okay.
So, the only,
Should we meet again before the board meeting?
No.
right, the only,
No. We'll get everything in our
We'll have
board
questions about it,
package.
right?
Everything will be updated in our.
the only
board
thing we
package.
discuss is how much of the 105,000 we're gonna approve, or any of it if we decide to change any of it, right?
Oh, right, as far as the levy is the $40, I don't really want to go any higher than
That has to go
How
back.
can we-
That goes back into an executive session. We decide what we're going to do on all that stuff, and then we bring it back to the.
Budget is just our
Yes.
our best guess based on facts, what we're gonna need to spend in the future.
How do we justify charging that? What gives us the power to do that?
We can charge up to $250 a year for a special levy for improvements. You have that power up to.
If we're in deficit,
No.
that's what it says.
It's for any improvement on a building that's why
For improvements.
Where does it
you're,
say that?
you're in deficit because we can't afford to chip away at these buildings.
Well, I'm not saying we won't be in a deficit either, because if we have $146,000 on our audit
You're in a
shortfall,
deficit.
right? We're in a deficit. But you said we have the authority somewhere else to do that?
You do, I'll have to pull it up and we can go through it.
Okay, because the only spot I could see it was we have a once a year, one-time fee, not to, what, more than 10%? Is that the way it reads? I forget how it reads. Exactly.
It's in your declaratory.
And the sad thing is that, like Joey says, we have money to pay our bills and expenses, day-to-day expenses, but these buildings are crumbling down around us. And they could get to the point where they start looking like Brackenville, and all you can do is take it back.
We gotta fix them, I said before.
In the
I'm not
other-
against fixing the buildings on the fort, and it's gonna cost money to do it.
And that's where we're hoping that people
That's
agree.
what that money is for.
The board of
Especially
directors
when it
may
comes to-
establish supplementary assessments in the amount necessary to pay a deficit of the association for any fiscal year. Such supplementary assessment may only be levied once in any calendar year and may not exceed 10%. So
That's for a deficit.
right, it says to pay any deficit. Now, that's the only spot I saw. I missed another one?
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up
Okay.
and then just give us all a copy and that answers that question. So among everybody here, are there any real objections to any of the amounts or the things in this budget?
Did I hear correctly that you would like have 3 bids and we approve one of them
On the contracts?
or contract?
Yes. That's normal, that's in here too. that she's
Well, it may
supposed to
be
get
in the
3
spot
bids.
that she can't get 3 bids, like the security system.
That's different than you
mean,
having an option that, and then you can't get it. We're in a small area, we're not like.
Right, there's
Sarasota.
not, I don't wanna limit her by being able to work with one contract and do essentially open book construction, not having to get another bid. If you're working with somebody that you're comfortable with and they're performing the work that you're pleased with, then there's really no other fair way than open book construction. You know, they have a cost and they're gonna make money, or they're not gonna do the work. And the way they cover that is in a bid, they put in, well, we gotta have, you know, something else might happen, so I'm gonna put extra in. If it happens, I'm covered. If it's not, I make more money, which is not the cheapest thing for the owner, but it's the best thing for the contractor. So if you can line item everything that he's gonna do, we're gonna charge you $15 an hour, and we're gonna do this, and, you know, then it's better to work with one person. If you've got one person you can work with, especially here, because
That
the
also,
availability of contractors
but that
is
also
somewhat
comes back,
limited.
that also comes back to us, if that's what we allow her to do, if that's all she can find. So we
Right.
still have to
We still
approve
have
it.
that control.
Yeah, still has to be an approval process.
And believe me, I mean, you're speaking to the choir when you're talking about line items and P and L and stuff, because as a property adjuster, I was writing my own bids on homeowners, commercial losses, the whole shot. So I understand where you're going on that, and I see the importance, but you gotta realize, these figures in here, she's already done that. 52 pencils a day times certain
Right,
suspected
that's a rough
year.
estimate of what it's gonna cost to run that
And
department.
that's already in here.
Exactly.
Right. How are we gonna earmark the 105 for what? I mean, so we charge, how are we gonna do a levy? Charge them so much a month if they don't pay?
It'd have a stipulation on there, you'd send a letter, you have 30 days to pay it, this is the number. I would think later in the year, so you would kind of get through your fiscal year, and you didn't misuse that power of a levy, and then it would be earmarked for Seminole Hall,
And then the letter would explain it.
and the letter would explain
That
that.
it's going for, an example of what it's gonna be spent on, plumbing, electrical,
Sure.
roof, whatever
Sure.
we plan on doing with it. Because I know,
I think if people know what it's going for, it makes
That was my,
Makes it more
that's where I was
sensitive,
headed for this,
easier
is we need to kind of
swallow it if you know what
get
you're
some
doing.
sort of plan out for that.
But
When we,
they gotta understand in conjunction with the other group, which I'm affiliated with, and so is Debbie over there, we cannot cover with the amount of money that we receive to do all these things to these buildings. We're catching the outside, but we can't get the inside, which is falling down, and this is where this kind of money is gonna come along and bring the systems back up where they should be.
And that turns that into, get it to where you want it, that becomes a money-making
Exactly.
operation.
So we get the inside and the outside of the buildings done.
Or to appease, you could put it on the next annual meeting, because you don't have an election, and you can put it up to vote. And you could say, you would like to spend $20 for 1 year, every member, $20. And then it goes, because whether we do this 105 or not, it doesn't affect our numbers. Because I have budget in here, you get this money, and it goes right back out to be spent.
right, we're not spending this
So-
money in this budget for
No,
anything.
no,
no,
just
that's
only
right.
for Seminole Hall.
And that's what everybody's gonna have to be reassured of, is
And we
that we're not.
would, you'd have
That's
plenty of
understanding
discussions,
line items.
and board meetings after board meetings, we'll talk about it. We're not gonna just throw it out there, because that would just be suicide. and then maybe you put it on for a vote.
We could,
You could give them options,
we could
if
do
you, or, explain what the levy's for and what amount of money do you feel is a fair levy? And you can put 50, 40, 30, whatever you wanna do, if you're gonna ask them for a vote. Or no levy, let our buildings fall down around our heads, but,
Well, we gotta fix them or just tear them down, one or the other, and I think we should fix them.
yeah. I don't
But
think,
you can do that in an annual election, we have to pay for the postage and all that other stuff, or you can just discuss it at the town hall meeting. I don't know, but I think that a consensus, it's just a hunch, I think most people would be okay with it.
I agree, I think they would.
that.
And then if you
As long as
planned
you know
it,
what it's for.
if you planned it for 3 years and it's $20 or $40, obviously if you did, everybody did $40 per membership, that's $105,000, and that can do some pretty good
Right.
chipping away for 3 years. Seminole Hall.
That's what I was trying to think of, how we can implement that, because we're gonna approve it or not approve it. And I think we probably need to approve it. I mean, the buildings need to work.
yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, when you
And I don't know if we should let them pay it over a 6-month period, or,
Well, that's what we can determine when we put this together.
True.
I just don't wanna come like the last time. Again, I'm living in the past, I guess. But everybody thought the fort was doing fine, then the next day we hear, by God, we're going down the tubes, we're broke, and you gotta pay a mandatory assessment. Where'd that come from?
At your earliest convenience.
Right, that was the
They
next
messed
thing.
up and they
And,
didn't do that.
I don't wanna do that again.
Well, I don't think none of us wanna do that. I don't mind paying.
Surely those people didn't wanna do it, but I guess that was the best idea they could come up with, I don't know.
When you live in a place like ours, everybody knows that we're living in a historical district, really both the state and the federal. And there are responsibilities that go with living here, and that's one of them. You have to maintain your.
Even if we had a brand new clubhouse, we still gotta maintain
Well, I
it.
know, but here you're talking about, buildings
We're
that are
finishing up a brand new
historical.
clubhouse, 700 and some units over there. They got a clubhouse and a pool, and those apartment people are fixing to pay for that somehow. That's already factored in that rent somewhere, is that they're paying to keep the clubhouse up, to keep the exercise. They got a fancy gym that's air conditioned, they got a pool, they got playground equipment, and they're paying every month, somebody is, to fix that stuff.
believe me.
Whether it's old or new, it doesn't
Lived in a
matter.
homeowners association in Boise that had about 6,000 homes,
Exactly.
and we paid $150 a month.
That's not
$50 a
uncommon.
month,
That's not uncommon.
and they kept raising it every 3 months. Somebody was raising it, so, this is cheap.
Yeah, that's the other thing that the board should be proud of the past years. You approved last year to implement a renter's fee, implement raising the rates, and we stayed away from it. And
We
to
didn't
keep your
touch it.
rates at $39 a month, and we can still reduce this,
Right.
the people should be happy whenever you're paying $17.
I'm happy, that's why I get confused
But the-
why everybody's all of a sudden vindictive, in the renter's fee. I think we've been working on that for, 2 years?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad to see it finally come to fruition. I think that's a good deal, because that'll solve a lot of our problems, not just fiscally, but all these people that aren't supposed to be using the facilities and tearing them up, that we're paying for, and they're not.
They're getting it for free.
It's
Right.
gonna save us a lot of
That's-
animals too.
We need to have those people need to kick in
And
their
keep in
chair.
mind, remember what we talked about over there, is if you do this renter's fee, you're gonna have to reevaluate your definition of an FRM.
Yep.
There's some big things that you're writing off.
Where did I miss?
They need
What
to be
did we
bitten
talk
off.
about that I forgot, or missed, or something?
Okay,
Redefine
so
FRM.
if you have renters who are an FRM, like right now, I have a big problem, okay? I'm an FRM, and I call you in, I'm calling a guest in. Guess what, I'm an FRM, I don't live on property, so how can I call in somebody? Because they're not going to a property, and they're not with the person who holds the FRM, so now they're all around. And I don't know whose guest it is, because they're not going to a house. We've got a lot of loopholes.
Can't they check that down there? What kind of,
No, right, as you stand, a member's a member's a member. So if I'm an FRM and I live in San Antonio, hey, Joe Schmo's coming down. But where am I calling him in to go?
Yeah.
Because he's not going to a house.
that's what I mean, an FRM member, we don't check. I I don't know what we do, when they call in and say, let my gas stand,
They let them in, because you, as your declaratory instruments and everything reads, that's what you have to do. There's loopholes.
That's what she's talking about.
That's what I'm saying, we have to rewrite
We're gonna
that.
have to close those loopholes.
well, we probably need to do that rather.
Yes, you do.
Rather quickly.
That's what we talked about over there.
There's a lot of loopholes in bylaws and declaratories that we have to close.
And that's what we're gonna start chipping away at this
Bylaw.
year.
And it takes a little bit to do that.
And I think the first thing is the FRM thing. Because if you're gonna implement a rental
FRM,
fee.
I mean, family recreation membership.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it does.
And then call that other people in too,
Yes, sir.
or should
Then
they?
it should.
That's for their family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
'Cause it will after
It was
the next
intended.
meeting.
but it
Yeah,
doesn't work.
we need to make, we seriously, we're losing money.
Well, and if we vote on this budget, we're agreeing that we're gonna get the revenue from the FRM, but we haven't implemented it yet,
You're right.
or do we?
Right.
That means we're gonna plan to implement this
We're gonna
in this
do it.
next fiscal year.
Yep,
Well,
Which
it should
is
be
day
another
after the
statute.
meeting, essentially.
It is.
basically.
Some kind of renters, membership, recreation membership, not a family recreation membership.
Well, I
If
think
it's
that's
on a
too
rental.
many different memberships.
Yeah, that's why you make it, they make them get an FRM.
Yeah.
They don't create another line item for us to do billing and it gets too
There's
confusing.
a little bit
Yeah,
of
and the thing is,
redefining on this.
is that the argument that I own the like renters, I own the property and I'm a owner, I'm transferring my membership to them, but when I rented over at the condos, I was specifically told on that day I arrived, I only had access from the gate to the condo. I had no access to any of the amenities on the fort.
Right.
So the owner of that condo's recreation privileges, I don't care what, they may say I've already paid for them, but they sure didn't pay for them for me.
Well, they don't transfer it.
No. So
But they do
we
here.
have to stop that.
That's what we're gonna do.
And that's what some of the owners have said.
We're gonna make it transfer.
And then
We
the
need to
other
buy one along
problem,
with it.
here's the other loophole. Let's say I'm doing rent to own, okay?
Oh, that's
So let's say it's the owner's financing. The owner, what they should do is go put that membership in that person's name, and then you do all the paperwork that you should do if that
Default.
renter defaults, right?
Mhm.
So as it stands, some of the homeowners aren't doing that. They're still holding the membership, then you got somebody who's assuming ownership, and they're coming and going, and then they're not registered here, because a renter is supposed to register at the front, right? So now I'm a rent to own, and there's no accountability, there's nothing in our system.
Well, see, we need to redefine that. You're a renter, period. The rent-to-own agreement is
Still
between you and
renting.
the owner, not you and the fort.
Right,
So that has to be
then it has to be
redefined.
something written to
But
where,
that's
just
just
has
one
to be
other aspect
redefined.
of it that needs to be.
Well, all that affects the security that people worry about on the
Yes.
fort.
Liability
And that's what
also.
people bought on the fort. That's a major concern that people took in advisement when they bought on the fort, is they bought blue sky security. They did.
There's no such thing, but yeah, I understand. what
But
you're
you
saying.
gotta implement these things to make it tougher so that you can enforce what should be, not what you think should be.
and then the people who buy in here, then you feel like it's your privilege, you get to enjoy
Right.
these things because you bought here.
Well,
Otherwise, why be a gated community if we just let everybody in?
Right, that's the whole deal with the golf club membership or recreational membership. Well, why pay for that when I can go up there and play golf for $5 or 15 or whatever it is? There should be there should be perks for being a member. Because we pay $39 a month every month, whether we play golf or don't play golf. If Debbie breaks her leg and doesn't play golf for 6 months, she's still paid. You know, if you're coming from Del Rio and you broke your leg, you don't have to pay because you're not coming. But she did, she paid every day. So she deserves a better deal than the other person, if you're living here.
And here's another scenario we've been encountering. Let's say the more that we do the marketing, I had a couple come in from, I think, Houston this weekend. They come in, we want to go drive around with the fort, which that's what you want, right? So then they drive in, we're gonna go drive around with the fort. Well, then they end up over at the swimming pool. Then they're like, okay, well, here they are at the swimming pool. Now the pool's closed, we don't have personnel down there anymore, so it's a free-for-all. Now I got somebody who just is traveling through and they're over there. Now, we want people to come in here and look, fall in love and want to buy, but yet we miss out on any type of money. And then they're anywhere. Because once they're on, they're on. How do you, what's the fine line of restricting them and then also having some type of accountability? I think in the future, we look at, you come through the one lane, you pay to come in just to drive around. And if you end up at the pool, you've already paid.
Might be.
Something to think about.
I might
Another
Something
alternative would be to
that,
have.
the one thing we had talked about before was a definitely visible temporary orange placard or something. You're only, you know, and explain to them, they're
Sure.
only supposed to go here and there. That will keep them from going,
No.
but security can tell, like, you're not supposed to be down here.
Well, if you just drive down to the pool to look at it, but you're not in the pool.
Right.
You're just driving down to look at it, to see what the facilities are.
There's no way to make 100% deal on it, but.
But an orange
there-
placard, something really bright, I think it's an excellent idea.
Yeah, we talked about that before, for people that were day passes or weekend passes or, you know, something like that, take the little thing on there now, but bright blue means you're one day, bright green means you're here for the weekend, something. But you know more about those problems because you're encountering them every day. You know, I would have never thought, when I came in here to look around, I didn't go swimming, I drove down there. But I didn't think I was a full member, I thought I was in here looking to buy property.
Yeah, that you have.
Other people don't think that, though. They think, I'm here, let's party.
You already have a guest host program where they have to check in at admin, maybe we need to get you a golf cart or something, where you have a guest host in here, and when someone checks in admin, the gate calls you in, they send you only to administration, and you have 2 minutes to get here. And you greet them with the guest host, drop
That's-
them in the golf cart, and take them on a tour.
That's okay. I mean, you could
You
have
can have
real estate
volunteers
people
to
do
do
it or
it.
anybody do it. But like, I like to drive around and look at stuff, not just, you know, and I don't wanna waste somebody else's time either. And in a lot of
Well,
gated
they
communities
wouldn't
you
do
go
that on
into,
purpose.
they're very strict. There's no monkeying around. Either you wanna be here or you don't. That's it. I don't think we wanna be quite that person yet. Maybe we do, I don't know.
It's hard whenever you say you got a public restaurant, you got a public golf course, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna go golfing.
Right.
Well, then they get the golf pass, they're in. So, I mean, have you guys been to White Chalk Bluff? Just
Yeah.
that park
Chalk
over,
Bluff.
what is it called?
Chuck Bluff.
Anyway, if you're just gonna go in and you're just gonna do a drive-through, they give you a little hanging thing on your rearview mirror and you give them your driver's license. And on the way back, you turn that in to get your license back.
And that, right, that's something like the big blue sticker or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's kind of a
Yeah.
99% solution to that problem somewhere.
I like that better than a guest host, but the alternative might be.
But you're still gonna have to do tours and whatnot.
Well, that's, you know, to take one person around is okay, but if you had 4 or 5 or 6 people, now you gotta dedicate staff to that is taken away. You either need to have that many people several times a week to afford to have somebody to do that,
It would also be a volunteer opportunity.
Yeah,
if they could get down there, you know,
or you just have a scheduled tour.
something.
Like you could advertise on the website, we're doing a
Sure.
tour this Saturday,
Call to schedule.
call the schedule and we'll take you
Yeah.
out. But anyway, that's down the line.
But closing it up tighter so everybody's not driving in and out all the time,
Right,
just doing whatever they feel like doing. Because
Right.
that's taking away the parts the members have.
One thing, maybe in the future, y'all might consider having the executive sessions, say like about 8 in the morning, and have it first before the regular meeting, because we go to 10:30 and then we meet, and then a lot of people can't wait to find out what was in executive session. So if you had it first,
Yeah, but you may be here till 11 o'clock doing executive session.
you might.
People who came to the meeting at 9 are gonna leave.
Yeah,
So,
you
it's,
might.
you know,
What the thing
There's a
is-
problem with all of that. I mean,
Yeah,
you're either
whatever way you
interested
do
or
it.
you're not. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Yeah, because we get into a
Usually, I
contract
think if we
personnel
did it,
issue,
there
we can
was
do
a
that.
crowd on here waiting, we'd speed things along a little bit.
They changed that when I was on the board once before, because they thought that the board went in there and decided the agenda and who was handling this.
Oh, and then
who
we
was
just,
handling that.
now, then we just
Yeah.
picked it when we.
Yeah, it was just a rubber stamp, come in, everybody.
Yeah, people are so suspicious.
and
Doesn't take
that's,
too many $42,000 phone bills to make you feel
Conspiracies.
suspicious. I mean, that's,
well, yell at the guy who signed the contract.
Although I do think that
You can
15
take-
minute session ought to be
Precisely,
back
that's
at the
my
end of
point.
the thing again.
That's my point.
You dig 'em out.
and last month's video camera got kicked in at check signing, and that's why you don't have your video up. Remember?
right, I remembered you, somebody didn't turn it on, I thought
No,
I kicked it.
no, I got
No,
turned
that was
down.
right when the check,
When
you
the
know,
check
check
got
away
presentation.
to the
Exactly, you
historic
got knocked
building.
I
out.
thought you said, when you looked at it, you said it recorded some of it, but not all of it.
It did, all the way up until the check signing.
Oh.
Yeah, because people, Winter Texans have been, the seasonal residents were complaining that as we speak, like Jody speaks, or I speak, at this end of the table, there's no camera view of the person that's speaking. So instead of just having the camera there, somebody should be probably moving the camera to the person that's
Panning.
speaking.
Or saying their name.
Instead of just leaving it there, cause it only gets like,
Well, they,
you
yeah,
3.5.
It's, yeah.
right, but they were concerned, but like people in the audience should say their name when they get up to say something,
Sure, you should.
loud enough to hear something, so.
And I think we should put the 15-minute open session back where it started.
Why?
Well, because a
Picture
lot of
our
them,
audience.
well, for one thing, they read the agenda topic, but they don't really know what's gonna be discussed on that agenda. So I think after they hear us, they might have more valuable comments for us.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why are we posting it then?
What?
Why are we posting the agenda if they don't read the damn thing?
Oh, no, I mean, the agenda just says a line item, it might say,
It says what the line item is.
yeah, I know, but we end up discussing it and providing information.
Yeah, but
So, that was just.
Yeah,
just-
but the other part of that is, we discuss it, we vote on it,
Mhm.
and then they comment on it, well, it's too
Well,
late.
then, it's open but it's always been 15-minute thing, has always kind of been open comment, not just on the existing agenda.
I know, I
And I've had several members ask me about it, that they feel that we're taking time away, and every time that happens, I explain to them, again, that community council is where you need to be if you want detailed discussions. I'm saying, we're giving them 15 minutes, I just think it feels out of place where it is.
I
It's
couldn't
just me.
disagree more.
No, I mean, I blame the majority, I just thought I'd throw it out since we have one coming up, and,
well, I figured we'd give it a few meetings.
that's fine.
to see how it
Most
goes.
council meetings, most governmental meetings have the comments ahead of the
Yeah.
actual
But
council
usually
business.
there's more information going out from council as to what's gonna be discussed at a meeting. It's a city thing. I don't care, I mean, I'm just giving you my input, and I am strongly with the majority. If you guys disagree with me, I have no
Oh,
problem.
I've got it,
I will say no more.
I got it before.
Forever.
I even
No, I'm not
received a
trying to be
letter.
thick, but
Hey, you owe me that, touche, I'll give that one to you, Robbie.
I can say that and laugh at the same time, I don't get
I think
all my
it's
hair
funny.
fussed up.
I wanna go home.
Well,
Me
there
too, I
was
want
15
supper.
before and a 15 after, and nobody was filling in at the 15 before, so that's the reason it went to the 15 after.
Really confused.
Let's just try it a couple of meetings
All right,
and
I'm
see.
willing, that's fine. As long
See
as
what
you-
I
more
didn't like
comment.
it that way. I thought you didn't like it that way.
What? The comments before?
Whatever it is.
By the way, Jody, this is a very nice printout. What Quicken did you use for this? This part of the Quicken or some other?
No, it's
Is
just,
that nice
it's,
though?
it's an Excel.
That's next.
What's that?
Yes, sir.
But isn't that a nice presentation?
Yes, it is.
It is much better than we've ever got before,
Okay.
except when you printed the other one out.
I will
That's-
say no more forever.
Is that yours?
No, that's,
Well, you know,
Thank
Chief
you,
Nez Perce, I will fight no more.
that's Sandy's.
Well, it
Sandy,
is
is that
keep me
your,
on my toes,
What?
that your
Rhodey.
mother, here over there?
Yeah, that's where it
Totally
is.
argumentative.
I left it in the car. I wish it was around here.
Sometimes it's
Unfortunately,
alright
it's
to-
water was a
You
needle.
guys talk tomorrow, we gotta go San
Because
Antonio.
You got it?
Oh, foot surgery.
Oh, I thought, did you have that?
Okay, you were going back to get water or beer.
Yeah, no.
Where at?
That's on TV right
Have
there.
you been at the, down at the
All right
restaurant
with me,
lately?
I don't care if it's
Really?
on.
No, not.
Oh, man. Trying to talk